Hey, I'm Amanda, and this is The Middle of It, a podcast about the messy but beautiful in between parts of life. Today's episode is heavy, and not because I'm sick with COVID as I record, so excuse my voice, but let's be honest. The world is heavy right now. Between the news, the constant stream of loss, violence, division, it feels like everything is broken. And when things feel broken on that scale, it can become completely debilitating. You look around, and suddenly the idea of doing anything feels overwhelming. You're paralyzed. You can't move. And honestly, what does moving even change? That voice creeps in. Why bother? What's the point? I know that voice. I've heard it too. But I also know that staying stuck there in despair, in hopelessness, in fear, that doesn't fix anything. And it sure as hell doesn't help the people we love. Finding hope isn't just a fluffy idea for people who are spiritually bypassing reality. It's necessary. It's a survival strategy. Because if we let ourselves live in total despair, we lose our ability to act. We lose the energy it takes to care, to show up, to be part of the change we want to see. And I want to say something important here. It's hard to find hope when you're depressed by what's happening around you. That's real. And you're not broken because you're struggling with it. But there is still a way forward. And that's what I want to explore today. When I find myself spiraling, when the weight of the world or life starts crushing my chest and making me freeze, I come back to one thing: my kids. They are my why. They're the reason I fight to stay grounded, stay hopeful, and stay awake to the goodness that still exists. Because if I spiral into despair, if I play that tape all the way through, what do I see? I see disconnection, rage, depression, apathy. I see my kids growing up with a mother who's too tired to see them, too jaded to believe in them, too overwhelmed to show up for their lives. And then I imagine them absorbing that energy, that heaviness, that hopelessness. And maybe they start carrying it forward too. But if I play the other tape, the one where I keep my heart soft, my mind open, and my body moving toward good, I see kids who know how to be the good in their communities, who know that small acts of kindness matter, who believe they have the power to make change because they saw me live that belief. Think of something as simple as the person who pays for the car behind them in the drive-through. And then that person pays for the next and the next and the next. One day I went through a coffee drive-through and someone ahead of me paid for my order. It wasn't something I was expecting. It wasn't like a holiday, no big occasion. It was just a random act of kindness. And I knew the drill. I thought it's such a simple thing, but it makes me feel good. So I paid for the person behind me just to keep it going. I didn't even think twice. But here's the wild part: the person I paid for, she followed me across the street back to my job. She came up to me and asked, "Do I know you?" She was completely puzzled why someone would just pay for her coffee. I told her, "No, I just wanted to do something kind." And she sat there kind of stunned, like she didn't quite know what to do with it. But then she gave me the biggest smile. One of those real full face, light up from the inside smiles. She drove away smiling like someone had handed her more than just a coffee. And that's the thing. Sometimes the smallest acts create the biggest shifts. not just for the person on the receiving end, but for the person giving too. So if you're looking for a way to stay hopeful this week, maybe try that. Buy someone a coffee. Drop $10 on a stranger's GoFundMe. Send $6 to your kid's school during the book fair to make sure a child who couldn't afford a book gets one. Text someone something kind just because. It costs nothing. You never know how far it'll go. You never know what someone's carrying. And you never know when your small act becomes their turning point. Even when the world feels heavy, you can still do something good. That's what hope and service does. Let that be your energy in your home, your neighborhood, your circle. Here's the thing: living in the negative doesn't make you more informed. It doesn't make you more prepared, doesn't make you more helpful. It just makes you exhausted. Oh, I remember constantly bitching about the state of the world, posting my rage on Facebook, tearing people down in the comments section. And guess what? That's not changing anyone's mind. It was just creating more negativity, more ugliness. People are using social media to divide. So, what if instead of attending those digital shouting matches, you focused on bringing people together in your own backyard? Let me be blunt here. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. In fact, I'll go as far as to say this time, don't attend any arguments on social media. And here's the real kicker: when you make negativity your identity, when outrage becomes your default, what happens when the storm passes? Your energy has nowhere to go. So what do? You seek out the next chaos. You need another fight. You need something else to be mad about. At least I know I did. And just like that, you're stuck in a cycle of emotional burnout. You've made crisis your home. And that's not strength. That's avoidance in disguise. You're not changing the world doing that. You're just breaking yourself and maybe your family down piece by piece. You might not be able to fix the whole system. You might not be able to end war or stop injustice or change a corrupt institution overnight. But that doesn't mean you have no power. You can volunteer at your child's school, feed someone who's hungry, drop off diapers at a local shelter. Hey, start a podcast or write a blog, share your story. Be of service to someone in recovery who's just starting out. Speak love and truth into someone's life when they've forgotten who they are. These are some of the things we've already talked about. In recovery, we're taught that being of service keeps us sane. Well, helps try to keep us sane. It pulls us out of self centeredness. It reminds us we're not alone. And you never know when that one phone call or smile or act of kindness is the exact thing someone else needs to not give up today. You're more powerful than you think. Stop measuring that power by how loud your post is and start measuring it by the depth of your impact. When things are heavy, we do still need real tools, things that ground us, help us feel, and keep us connected to living, not just surviving. Some mental and emotional things that I try to do at times is like journaling out what's the noise in my head. Sometimes just doing 60 seconds of meditation or prayer. calling someone who reminds me of who I am. In AA, we have something called HALT, HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Start there. There's recovery mantras also that can center you. Let go and let God. This too shall pass. I can't, God can. Let him. And then, of course, the good old serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There's also physical things that you can do. Going outside, touching the ground, feeling the sun on your face, dancing in a kitchen, just moving your body, cleaning one drawer, or for me, just the living room that's full of toys. Drink water, eat protein, limit the media input that makes you spiral. There's also things that you can do to add humor and lightness to your life. For me, that looks like Modern Family and Friends, ridiculous videos on TikTok, your child laughing at nothing, a friend who always makes you cry laughing, or even try the TikTok dance that's way above your skill level but still makes you smile. I've got that airwalk one totally fixed for someday when I'm in a really bad mood because I know the second that I start to try that one, I'm going to die laughing because I know I can't do it. Joy is not frivolous, it's medicine. It reminds us that life is still worth showing up for. Recovery taught me that I don't have to go it alone, that I'm not supposed to, that I don't need to know the whole plan. I just need to trust the next right thing. Let me give you some practical applications there. If I'm obsessing about the news, I turn it off and pray for the people in my real life, my day to day life that I'm worried about. And then I try to stay away from my news app for the rest of the day. If I feel powerless, I think of the things in my head, I think of those gratitudes and make out a list of what's real and good in my life. And if I'm rage commenting in my head, I pause and ask, is this going to be coming from ego or am I actually trying to be of service? And typically, if it's a rage post, it's coming from ego. These tools don't make the world less painful, but they do make it more bearable. And when I'm spiritually connected, when I'm focused on what I can control and letting go of what I can't, I show up better. I'm nicer and I'm definitely more useful. And that's really the version of me I want in the world. What do you think grows from chronic anger, fear, despair, and resentment? More anger, more despair, more dysfunction. How do you think we got here in the first place? Are we trying to build a gloomier future or a brighter one? We need to be the source. If you're raising kids, start there. If you're not, mentor someone, volunteer, support programs that empower youth. Don't waste your time trying to convince your adversaries online. Instead, build a generation that's emotionally strong, grounded in purpose, and not afraid to hope. Let your life model resilience. Let your life prove that joy and justice can coexist. There's so much in this world that we can't control, But our response, that's ours. Our attitude, our habits, our presence, our choices, our energy. You don't have to save the world, but you can hold your piece of it with care. And if enough of us do that, if enough of us hold our piece of the world with compassion, joy, hope, and integrity, then yeah, I think change is still possible. So take care of yourself. Laugh, rest, stay connected. You're not lost. You're just in the middle of it. And the middle is where the work and change happens. If this episode resonated with you, send it to someone else who needs hope today. Until next time, keep going.